Hey, what's up, everybody? Hammerheart Metal Reviews here once again. In my year-end favorite albums of 2024 video, I said that was going to be my last video for 2024, but I guess I lied because I'm back doing another video today. I was just a little bored today and figured, why not film something? And today we are going to be talking about albums that I am looking forward to next year, 2025. I'm going to talk about 15 bands and albums here, but I'm kind of dividing it up into 3 different segments. The first 5 being albums that have already been announced, that are for sure coming out, that I'm really anticipating and eagerly looking forward to. The next 5 will be albums that seem to be more than likely coming out. Maybe they don't have an official release date yet, but it seems like more than likely they will be coming out this year. And then the last 5 are things that I'm just very hopeful will be coming out this year that maybe haven't heard as much solid information about, but that I can still anticipate and hope for. So yeah, as usual, always like to get your picks down below. Let me know which albums you are most looking forward to, either whether it's something that's already been announced or whether it's just something you're really hoping gets released in 2025. And let's just get into this. Okay, so starting it off with the first 5 that are albums that are for sure coming out, that have already been announced. Kicking it off with a release that's coming out in January, being Century, with their new album, Sign of the Storm. So this is their sophomore album. I absolutely loved their debut from a couple years ago. It was actually, I think I put it as number 1 on my album of the year. They just perfectly captured that old school Swedish heavy metal sound that bands like Heavy Load or Gotham City are the masters at. But honestly, the debut by Century, it just caught lightning in a bottle. They struck gold. Killer stuff, amazing riffs, and I'm hoping they can repeat that here, find that same winning formula, and produce an awesome album. I've heard a couple tracks from it already, and I am very confident that it's going to be a solid album. So yeah, really looking forward to this one. The next 4 that I'm talking about are all scheduled for February releases. I think February is going to be a crazy month here just based on this. First of all, I will talk about Ereb Altor with their new album that I will surely mispronounce, Halsingemorker. Doing my best there, but yeah, they've already released 1 track from it, Valkyrian Fate, which they got a video for. Killer track to open up the album. I'm really looking forward to the rest. I've already pre-ordered this album. Absolutely love the band, everything they've done, whether it was their earlier Epic Doom stuff to the later era where it's more combining some shades of like the more black metal side of Bathory, but still bringing in the epic nature as well. They just awesome, like Viking-esque epic metal would be the best way to describe them if you're unfamiliar with them. But yeah, they've got a very solid discography. I'm sure this one is not going to be any exception. And yeah, very eagerly looking forward to getting my hands on the new Ereb Altor. Up next, going with one of my favorite bands as well, with Saor and the new album Amidst the Ruins. Another one that I have already pre-ordered. Yeah, Scottish master one-man band, but brings in different musicians as well. This is atmospheric black metal. Just really always, each album transports you to Scotland, and I just absolutely love this, like the style of music that he plays and all the different influences and different instruments that are brought in. I am sure this one is not going to disappoint me. I mean, the lead single, they didn't just release a 5-minute single. It's like a 14-minute epic. It's absolutely awesome. If you haven't checked it out yet, the title track, go check it out. The video is great too. Shows you a bunch of different Scottish scenery, whether it's in Isle of Skye or in other spots in Scotland. But yeah, I absolutely love this project, love every album they have released, and I'm extremely confident this one will not disappoint as well. Very eagerly looking forward to it. Sticking with black metal, but this time switching over to Finland, another album that's coming out in February is Havukruunu with their new album Tavastland. So this is a band that is quickly rising up in the ranks of like some of the best modern black metal out there, in my opinion, at least anyway. Everything they've released is gold, and I am, once again, I'm just repeating myself here, but I'm very confident this one's not going to disappoint. I've only heard the 1 track from it so far, but it sounds like Havukruunu, which is epic black metal with great riffs. It's just so triumphant, yet still has that sense of sorrow the Finnish way, and yeah, they are just easily one of the best modern black metal bands. Very eagerly anticipating this album as well. So lastly, for albums that have already been announced, I'm sticking with Finland, but maybe with a lesser known band project. This is a one-woman band, Vermilia, with her new album, Karsikko, which is, also coming out in February. So this will be her third full-length, I believe. And, the last one, Ruska, I was a huge fan of. I thought it was great. I've already heard one song off this album, and I think it's going to be much in the same vein. She really brings in a lot of the Finnish folk elements. She's got a great, clean singing voice, and then she can just get really aggressive with the black metal rasps as well. It's just that folky Finnish pagan metal that the country is just really well known for. And I'm very much looking forward to this album. If you haven't checked out Vermilia before, go check out our previous albums as well, and definitely go listen to the new one that's coming out in February. So those were the 5 that are for sure already announced. Now I'm going to talk about 5 that seem more than likely, but no official date yet. So kicking off that list, I'm going with King Diamond with his potential new album, The Institute. I mean, this has been in the works for a decade at least. The first single was released, I can't even remember, 6 or 7 years ago. I'm like, where's the album? And they did just release a new single as well. So maybe that's a good sign that this album is actually going to come out this year. I hope so. It's been forever since a new King Diamond album. Like, I can't even remember the last year of his last one. Probably 15 years ago at least. But I really hope we get new King Diamond material. Maybe some Merciful Fate too. But it seems like the new King Diamond is going to come out this year. So we can keep our fingers crossed and hope. Another one that is rumored to be happening is Helms Deep with what will be the sophomore album, the follow-up to Treacherous Ways, which was one of my favorite albums from last year. And I have just been eagerly awaiting more material because that album just came out of nowhere and absolutely floored me. And I cannot wait for more material. I hope that happens this year. Originally, I think it was rumored to be coming out 2024 this year, but hopefully that actually happens in 2025. I can't wait. I'll scoop it up immediately. Up next, another band that I think is going to be close to releasing an album, or at least announcing it, and that is Testament, one of my all-time favorite thrash bands. I know they've been working on the new album for quite some time, so I think it's just a matter of finalizing the release by putting the finishing touches on it. But it seems likely that one's going to be coming out this year, and that's another band that I always go check out their new albums for sure. Just like I said, one of my favorite thrash bands of all time. Easily an album that I will go listen to. Up next, Hooded Menace. I have heard rumblings that they're in the studio right now recording their new album. So I think that's usually a good sign that the album will probably come out this year. Who knows? If the mastering process takes a long time, they could delay it till the future year. But it seems like we're going to get new Hooded Menace this year, which they are one of the best death doom bands out there, in my opinion. And the follow-up to the Tritonus Bell, I will definitely be eagerly anticipating because that was one of my favorite albums from a few years ago as well. And last but not least, in this section of albums that are probably coming out is Helloween with their new album, still with their full reunited triple singer lineup that I had the pleasure of seeing live last year. They released their self-titled album with all 3 singers on it a couple years ago, and it was great. And so apparently this time around, Kai Hansen is writing even more songs, which is always a good thing in my book. So I cannot wait to hear new Helloween, one of my favorite power metal bands of all time. So hopefully we get that album in 2025. All right, now we're going to switch to the last segment of this video, which is 5 albums that I haven't really heard too much about. This is more just me having some wishful thinking and hoping that these actually happen, but I don't really have any concrete evidence to back this up. So take this with a grain of salt. These albums may not come out this year or ever for that matter, but I'm hoping. Kick it off with one of my favorite bands, Moonsorrow. I had heard last year that they had started writing new material. I haven't really heard anything about them recording or anything like that, but I'm going to be keeping my fingers crossed and always looking out for new Moonsorrow because it's been way too long since they've dropped a new album, and every single album in their whole discography is brilliant. Easily one of my favorite bands out there. So hopefully Moonsorrow can put out a new album this year because I would be ecstatic. Up next, sticking with black metal, Mare Cognitum. It's been a few years since his last album as well. Some of the best atmospheric black metal out there, cosmic black metal, whatever you want to call it. Solar Paroxysm was his last album. That was album number 5, I believe. And he's usually been pretty consistent, releasing an album at least every few years. So I think it's about due for a new one, but who knows? I haven't heard anything about it. Hopefully that happens, because that's another one that I will just be super pumped to get in my hands. Sticking with black metal again, Stormruler. I know that they have been working on their 3rd album just from following them on social media. Does that mean it's coming out this year? Not necessarily. I think they're just writing and recording some stuff right now. But yeah, hopefully album number 3 is as good as their first 2, because that's another one that's just one of these up-and-coming bands that's amazing. I had the pleasure of seeing them live. Well, that would have been last year. Yeah, and they blew me away live. Have both their first 2 albums. I will definitely scoop up the 3rd whenever it comes out. Hopefully that's this year. Another band that is way overdue with putting out their 3rd album is Visigoth. I am really hoping that we get a new album this year. Like, it has been way too long. They put out The Revenant King, and then like the very next year or 2 years later, they had put out Conqueror's Oath, their 2nd album, and I absolutely love both of those. Like, easily one of the best, like, new wave of traditional heavy metal bands, and I've just been waiting and waiting. I know they're busy with tours and guys playing multiple different bands, but I feel like Visigoth is the best of the bunch in all the bands that they play in, so hopefully, well, I guess that's excluding like Caladan Brood, but different style. I'm talking about the traditional heavy metal bands. Nonetheless, I got off track there a little bit. I was just thinking in my head. But yeah, give us new Visigoth. I need it in my life. So hopefully we get that in 2025. And then last but not least, this one is just pure me wishing that it happens, hoping it happens. I haven't heard anything about it. And that is Summoning. I would love to get another Summoning album. I don't even know if they're ever going to release another album or if they're just done. But I can wish, I can hope. So I figured I'd throw them in here because, hey, why not? I just love Summoning. I love everything they've ever done. Atmospheric black metal legends. Hopefully we could get a new album this year or just sometime ever. So yeah, that's my picks. Like I said, half of these are things that might not even happen, but there's some here that will definitely happen. So give me your picks down below. Which albums are you most looking forward to for 2025? And yeah, until then, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate. Have a good one with it. This will definitely be my last video for 2024, but I will see you in 2025. Hammerheart Metal Reviews. Out.